Hello everybody, welcome back to Sardinia. The MXGP of Sardinia, round 8 of the FIM Motocross World Championship with me, Paul Malin. Thanks for joining us for our live broadcast today, live and direct from the circuit. From the mothership right there, the blue thing right on the inside of the first turn. Circuit conditions here, heavy but perfect. 1,750 meters long, the racetrack. If you've been with us so far all day, then you know exactly where we're going. Otherwise, here's another quick look at the map of the flat plan. Start straight about 85 meters, down into turn 1, slightly downhill as you hit the braking zone, down past pit lane, coming in the opposite direction, round the 1, and then, yeah, twist and turning through the brush and the dunes here of Rio Sardo. We're about an hour and a half north of Cagliari, the capital. And we are coastal. So we are very much at sea level. There is a breeze, but it's very, very hot, almost 30 degrees out there on track. Before we go anywhere, though, as we see the riders out on track for their sighting lap, we will give ourselves a bit of a recap as to what happened in MX2 race 1 shortly. But it was pretty interesting as well, and the race really came to life towards the end of the moto as well. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. There were 2 runaway leaders that were fighting over the lead, albeit at a distance. But there was plenty going on in the sort of mid-top 10 area. So it's pretty exciting. Here's how it went down, MX2 race 1. Thibaut Benestant snatched his first foxhole shot of the campaign, his third, because he had 2 last year in MX2 in Maggiora, and Lockett. Riders crashed on the first jump there, but it was Benestant from Geerts, from Horgmo, Muse, Langenfelder and Adamo, but Vial, who was about 10th through the first couple of corners, was quickly into third by the end of the lap. As you can see, he made a move on Horgmo. He then caught Thibaut Benestant, who made a mistake in this turn, allowing Vial to nip up the inside. That was lap 2. He then set his sights on Jago Geerts. Both riders in the top 2 positions being urged on by their teams. Langenfelder then got up the inside of Horgmo to move into 4th place, as Adamo swept past Muse to move into 6th. Horgmo then fell from 5th place to 8th. He would eventually come home in 5th position. Muse would eventually retire from the race. That was around about the halfway mark. He was in 6th position. And then this battle between Adamo, Harup and Horgmo. Horgmo going through on the Dane. They didn't like it down there. And then Horgmo got the better of Adamo. Harup, though, came to life in the latter stage of the race. The 2 up front were always separated by about this much until Geerts made a mistake coming out of this next right-hand turn. He scuffed the front, scrubbed a load of speed, picked himself up. Vial suddenly right in contention once again. Harup went around the outside of Horgmo and then got the better of Langenfelder. Further on round the lap, final lap, Vial tipped over. That gave breathing space to Jago Geerts, who crossed the line for his 8th victory of the season, his 28th career win as well. He was a winner here, Rio Sardo, race 1, from Vial and Benestant. Take a look at the calendar, shall we, before we go anywhere else? But let's go and do the pre-grid first, because Lisa was down there a few moments ago, caught up with Tom Vial, and before that, Kevin Horgmo.
MX2 race 2 is about to get underway, but let's catch up with some of the guys about that first race. The first being F&H Kawasaki's Kevin Horgmo. Kevin, a little mistake in lap 9. You really had to regroup in that first race. You made it back up to P5. Just tell us about it.
Yeah, I had a good start and was riding in 4th when I made that mistake, and I think I dropped down to 8th or something. And after that, just tried to ride my lines, and yeah, eventually picked off riders one by one. Had some battles with Mikkel, and yeah, he got me on the second to last lap or something after I passed him some couple of last laps before. So we were really battling till the end there, and yeah, I hope to keep it on 2 wheels now in the second moto and ride the same.
Everyone's saying how tough this track is here in Riola Sardo. I mean, it's tough for you guys, the riders, but also for the bikes as well in terms of setups, isn't it, with the deep sand and the heat? Have you made any changes, and how hard is it to get a setup for a track like this?
Yeah, for sure. We need to take care of the bike and not override it, and try to choose the better lines for the engine to cool it and stuff. So really need to take care of that in this hot weather, and also rough track. It's deep sand, so if you stop in every corner and go again, then yeah, it's really tough for the engine as well.
Well, have a good race. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, let's speak to Tom Vial. Tom, you were really pushing a really fast pace in that first race. Little mistake at the end, but how did it feel for you?
Yeah, I felt quite good in the first moto, so now the objective is really to have a good start and try to catch a win if possible. I'm going to try my best.
In terms of energy, how much did you use up? Because you have to preserve it in this race, don't you?
Yeah, it was quite hot, so it was tough, I think, for everybody. But I feel good. I recover good now between the two motos, so yeah, I feel good for the race.
Have a good race. Thanks, Tom. Okay, good luck to all the guys. It's time for MX2 Race 2.
Here's calendar, here's where we've been, here's where we are, here's where we're going. Black and white, done, dusted. Majora was round 7 last week. We're round 8, Riola Sardo, and then we have a week off. And then we've got 3 in a row, Spain, France and Germany. And then, of course, another week off, the 2 races in Indonesia. A week off back-to-back with Loket in Czech Republic and Belgium. And we finish 25th of September, Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations at Redbud. Can't wait to get there. Full house, full atmosphere. It will be absolutely massive. If you haven't booked your tickets, do it now. MXGP.com. I'm sure there will be plenty of places where you can find them. Jago Kietz lines up first then, courtesy of his 5th pole position with a qualifying win on Saturday. Thibaut Beneston lines up alongside him, and then Kevin Horgmo, Simon Langenfelder, Tom Vial, Conrad Muse, Andrea Adamo and Mikkel Hara. And after them, we've got Liam Evans. He had an impressive ride in race 1. Likewise for Kevin Brumman, Stefan Rabini, Kai Carsmakers, Bastian Bodam, Jan Panzer, Valerio Latta and Philip Olsen. And then just bringing up the rear, we have Joel Rizzi, Hakan Fredriksson, Jakob Terasak, Isaac Gifting and Peter Pollock. Jago Kietz looks a bit tired after the first race, so hopefully he's regrouped, got himself plenty of fluids on board and ready to go again. Hopefully conditions, even though they feel hot outside, will start to cool towards the end of this second race. Thibaut Beneston got himself a foxhole shot for the first time this season. 3rd in race 1, he'll be looking to, well, I'm sure he's going to be eyeing up the podium, put it that way. So will this guy. Which position will it be, though, for Tom Vial on the Red Bull KTM? 2nd in race 1. Sounded nice and alert for race 2, so are we going to see it reverse in positions? And Vial on the top step, or somebody else, who knows? Mikkel Hara, great ride for him to come home in 4th place ahead of Horgmo and Langenfelder. And we are set. Almost ready to go racing here. Fly Racing, 15-second board up for the final time today in MX2. Championship as it stands right now, Jago Kietz on 3:16, Vial on 3:07, and then we've got Langenfelder, another 76 points further back. Who will it be that grabs the foxhole shot, though, this time around? Beneston it was in race 1. And it looks like Beneston again in the second race. Unless Vial... Wow, it was tight between the 2 French riders, but it may just have been Beneston again. We'll need to go to the scrutineering panel for that one, though, I think. But it's a French 1-2. Beneston from Vial. Kietz in 5th place, rider down, Langenfelder at the bottom of it. Liam Evans it was who went down first. As Horgmo picking himself up just off the bank there. Vial aggressive, runs Beneston to the outside, who hits neutral. Adamo in 3rd amongst all the chaos. Kietz 4th, Horgmo 5th. Gifting, Pollock, Carsmakers, Bodam, Brumman rounding out the top 10. Then we've got Harrop, Rizzi, Fredriksson, Panzer, Olsen, Rubini, Muse, Teresak, Langenfelder, and Latta. Jago Geerts tries to go around the outside of Adamo. Looks like he may have succeeded. He has at the first attempt. He's now behind his teammate, but he can't afford to hang around there too long. It's going to be a tough race for him to close down Vial, the race leader, from here. Kevin Horgmo looking to find a way past Adamo as well, and he may nip up the inside. Just about makes it stick, does he? In the background, yes he does. Horgmo up in the fourth. Vial trying to break free. Two Yamahas behind him. Geerts was closing in on his teammate, but it's Beniston who is still there in second position at the moment. Vial with a 1.7 second advantage over Thibaut Beniston. There is Isaac Gifting. He is in sixth place at the moment, just ahead of the JM Honda of Peter Pollock, Mikkel Harrop, Bodam and Kevin Brumman. Vial dancing away through turn 4. Not too long in the recovery process. The MX2 riders here. Hot conditions. Heavy racetrack. They put water down between races as well, so the sand is going to be heavier. But Geerts tries to force the issue. That's where Vial went by Beniston in race 1. So Geerts eyeing up his teammate. As we said before, can't afford to spend an eternity behind the 198 if he is to have any chance of closing down Vial. Goes around the outside here. It works, a lap ago, and it works this time around as well. Into second then for Geerts. The gap, about 2.3 seconds to the leader at this stage. There is Vial just around the corner, so the Red Bull KTM now being pursued by the lead Monster Energy Yamaha in the form of 93 Geerts. There's Beniston, his teammate, and the F&H Kawasaki of Horgmo. Adamo about 2 seconds further back. It's tough to know how to read this race, isn't it? Because if you push too early, you could be in danger of blowing yourself out. But it looks like there's a little bit of cloud cover starting to come in. Things will cool down. The breeze is picking up. And the last few days that we've been here, actually, around about sort of 5 o'clock-ish, is when temperatures are starting to cool. Well, that's not going to be for another sort of 40 minutes or so. This race will be done and dusted by then. The gap, 1.8 between first and second. Fastest lap of the race for Geerts. 55.5 compared to a 56.4. Thibaut Beniston did get the foxhole shot then. 100% record today. And doubles his tally since being in MX2. 4 now for the Frenchman. Keeping an eye on the splits between first and second. It's Vial who continues to lead from Geerts. Back end just pitched a little bit right on the Frenchman there. No change inside the top 10. Rubini is 11th. Langenfelder is in 12th place. He fell in the right-hander after pit lane. But the chase up from race 1 is now the chased in race 2 as Geerts sets his sights on Vial and hoping to put him under pressure as he was in race 1. A good start was needed. Vial got it. He now hopes to put in some good qualifying type laps to establish a gap. Easier said than done. when you're being stalked by the championship leader, who is also very, very good in these heavy conditions. Langenfelder is up to 10th now. He's found a way by Brumman, and Fredriksson has also passed Rubini. Fredriksson up into 12th. Another fastest lap by 3/4 of a second for Geerts. Stay loose, long race. That's the message to Vial. Yeah, you don't want to be tightening up, because as soon as you tighten up, I like how they just pick the front ends up. The prowess of a sand rider there, personified. Yeah, Geerts goes inside, outside. Quick in and out of the turns, isn't he, Vial? Just a little bit offline there, though. Somehow managed to stay on 2 wheels. He is absolutely pushing the envelope at the moment. No time to relax or breathe for these two. They had an intense pace in race 1. It's going to be a similar occasion in race 2 for these two. They're already 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds clear of Beniston in 3rd. Geerts triples in, Vial doubled in. How much did that cost him? Gap 1.3. You'll notice a little bit of work has gone on the circuit in 1 or 2 places. This part here on the run towards the city jump, for instance. Other areas on the track where jumps are an issue. No fastest lap this time around for Geerts, but he is quicker than the guy ahead of him. Less than a second as they hit the line at the end of lap 4. Vial continues to lead. Geerts continues to stalk his prey. Opts for the inside line this time around. Maybe realised he was losing too much time through that part of the racetrack. He messes up on the exit though. Langenfelder up to 8th. And Bodam 9. Watch this from earlier on in the race. So this was change for the lead. Vial on Beniston, getting his elbows out, going early, just running him up the side of the track. Beniston then hit neutral at that point. .3 the gap between first and second a short while ago. As you can see, it looks like it may be coming down again in favour of Geerts, who locks up the rear brake. Looks for something different, and that's cost him time. So a good response. This from Vial. Meanwhile, Evert's up to 14th after he fell through turn 3. .7, the biggest the gap has been so far all race. Is this the turning point for Tom Vial? Is this where he starts to check out, yes or no? Right, we're going down to KTM to speak with Dirk Grubel. He's with Lisa Leyland.
Dirk Grubel, we see Tom Vial really pushing the pace at the head of the field. Firstly, how much energy do you think he used up in that first race? And also, is he going to be able to handle the pressure from Geerts?
Well, like you said, in the first race he didn't have the best of the starts, so the first 2 laps he really pushed a lot to chase Jago down, and yeah, he tried everything he could. It didn't happen in the end. Now he had a better start. He didn't do all the leading work, and yeah, now Jago is the hunter, and it's going to be a tough race, and it's still a long way to go. But I mean, they both suffered in the first race with the heat, so let's see how that will develop. But I'm confident he can battle it out with Jago.
Best of luck to the team. Thanks, Dirk.
Yeah, the gap still hovering around about 1.3, so Geerts is going to work. But as we said, Tom Vialle, no slouch when it comes to riding in these conditions. A former world champion, of course. Looking to take back that crown. Things stay as they are, then we are as we were before we arrived here. 6 points will be the difference. It was 9 at the start of the race. But Geerts closer than he has been all race all of a sudden. And Vialle will hear the Yamaha engine behind him once again. 6 laps in the books, less than a second. We're 8/10 apart. Again, it's going to be a mistake, isn't it, that's going to determine this one. Oh, and there might have been the mistake. Vialle went to look back over his shoulder, and he caught the rut, that horrible rut on the exit of turn 2. He still somehow leads the race, though. And Geerts didn't get over the tabletop either. So 2 mistakes from both our leaders. The pressure really starting to build then. Again, just catching that ridge over on the far left-hand side, just as he G's out. Can't take your eyes off this battle up front, can you? Everts and Rubini have found their way past Pollock meanwhile. So up into 11th place now for Everts. Rubini's gone through as well. Fredriksson dropping down the leaderboard. So Fredriksson has had a problem. Meanwhile, we focus on this battle for the lead. Well, mistakes are starting to creep in with both riders now. This time we're going to go down to Jeremy Fontaine with Lisa in pit lane to find out what they're thinking over at Yamaha.
Jeremy, reverse roles now with Jago and also Tom. Mistakes are creeping in, which just shows how much they're both pushing. How do you see this one panning out? Because in that first race, we saw the mistake determine the result.
Yeah, it's difficult to say now something about the result, but for sure, now we want to fight together to be on the first on the podium. You know, together it's like fighting for the best result and also to take a lot of points. So, yeah, it's going to be a fine race.
Tom really pushed Jago in that first race. I mean, how much energy do you think he actually used up in that first race?
Sorry?
Tom was really pushing Jago in that first race. How much energy did he actually use up, do you think?
Oh, I think Jago was fine after the race. I make a good recovery after the race, so it can be fine for finish that race.
Good luck to the team. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, both riders pushing once again. The gap less than a second still between first and second as they go in search of new lines to carry more momentum, stay out of the holes as much as they can. Easier said than done on the rugged, tough terrain that is Rio Lasado here in Sardinia. And he runs too wide, almost lets the door too wide. Geerts wasn't able to barge on through though. All of a sudden, he may just be close enough to launch an attack. The number 93, but then he makes a mistake as well. So he gained the ground, loses the ground, and the same for Vialle there as well. But somehow getting himself back into contention. Time is running out though. 8 laps complete when they hit the line this time around. We might have a bit more daylight. Yeah, 1.5 seconds now between first and second. Beniston a bit further back in third. Not too far back, though. Because there's only less than 6 seconds between the leaders and Beniston, actually. And he's lapping quicker than both of these two. A 56.5, 57.1 and a 55.6 for Beniston, with his fastest lap of the race. And then we're into the 57s with Horgmo, Gifting, Adamo and Harrop. So sector 1 this time around, 28.9, 29.0. Advantage, Vial. Sector 2 at the end of the straight, either just into or out of the turn. Oh, he's riding his luck there, isn't he? Coming into Landra all the way over on the left-hand side in that very June-like soft sand. 30.8, 30.3 advantage. Kietz this time. And again, a mistake from Vial. Runs over the berm, runs too wide. Spends an eternity trying to get that scoop hooked up on the rear wheel of the KTM. Kietz made a mistake in this corner last time. Is he efficient through here? Kind of. Okay, both riders not able to triple in there this time around. In fact, they look like they've taken out the third one there. Tenths at the top. As soon as they're in the turn, they're on the gas, they're hooking gears. Letting the rear wheel do the work. Again, less than a second. Separate Vial and Kietz as we move into lap 10. Inside, outside, different options for the two leaders. The one race where you just want to get a bit of breathing space and be able to relax. When you're chasing your main rival and when you're being pushed by your main rival. With this pace, this intensity, neither rider can afford a break. They can't afford to relax. They can't afford to switch off. They will know they've done a GP in tough conditions today by the time they go back to their hotels this evening or jump on a plane first thing in the morning, whichever it is. They are just so in the zone at the moment. They won't worry about anything else until the checkered flag. Different choice of lines again. Just horrible holes, rugged circuit. Making the riders and the bikes work overtime. Vial is slightly better through that turn, isn't he? Every lap. But working their way back towards this turn here, turn 16. It just seems to be able to pull a little bit back. Beniston now almost 9 seconds adrift at the moment. In third. Be a podium for him though. Wow, good drive for Kietz that time around. He got clearly over the tabletop at the finish line jump. Well, whatever it is, it's barely a jump, is it? Isn't it? Both riders will be all in. You can is the message for Kietz. All in is for Vial. They have been all in for the first 10 laps. Fans appreciating this work ethic from both these two riders. Just watch. Oh, he's changed his line actually, Vial. He was over by the bank last time, the last few times, and he was catching a horrible little hook. Confidence to jump around the corner. Jumping blind into those holes. That's what separates these two from the rest on a day like today, but their pace as well, their intensity, unmatched, unrivaled here at Riola. Who is going to blink first? In race one, it was Vial in second as he was chasing the win. So quick through there, isn't he? I think Geertz has probably just latched onto that line, finally. Oh, he was heavy on the landing. He's one side of the track to the other. Cost him probably half a second, 3/4 of a second, something like that, because the gap was 1.2. Watch this. He comes in heavy, then short, and then he's just grabbed a handful of whiskey out to the bank. Fortunately, there was a bank there to turn off of. But a 1.2 gap at the previous split. He's rectified it. He's pulled it back to 8/10. That berm looks fragile to the outside in turn 2. Try and stay away from that next time around. Vial doing a fantastic job, keeping the championship leader behind him at the moment. Has done for the last 11 laps. Oh, he's got that hook sorted now. He was hitting it front end first, and it was pitching him previously. So quick through there, isn't he, Vial? Jumps in, carries that momentum around the turn. Hits, kind of jumps short through the first hole. Then he's got to pick pace back up again. Again, better drive for Geertz out of that left. Follows Vial in this time around. Then goes the long way round, does he? Oh, he cuts back into the inside. Still trying to figure out a way to find his way past the race leader, just like Vial was trying to do it in race one. As it stays like this, they share the points. The first and the second each. 47 points. But Vial will get it. And he'll take his 4th Grand Prix victory of the season. Actually, it'd be nice just to stay with the overhead at the moment, just to see where there are gains and losses between these two out on the racetrack. Right, Geertz swapping up his line there because of a back marker. I wonder if he's felt, actually, that's a quicker line than I have been using. Little things like that when you're forced into using a different line. Look at the gap now, absolutely nothing in it. He'll go to the outside here through this next right-hander. But again, Vial so efficient through those twisty turns. Watch Vial through this next. He jumps here, jumps long, through the middle of the corner. Just keeps that momentum going. He was slightly offline, though, compared to previous laps. Meanwhile, Everts up to 10th. He's found his way past Brumman, just like he did in race one. Those two, 10th and 11th in race one, and same again in race two. Wave Jello's rider down. Back markers need to be mindful, and they are. Huge leap through the triple. And Geertz, again, looking to get up the inside. Can't find a way through. Gets close, but just can't seal the deal. These two are going to be absolutely spent by the time the checkered flag falls. The pace is relentless. Get 3/4 of a second as they hit the line. Back marker ahead. Wow. 33, Kai Karsmakers in 17th place. The Hitachi KTM rider, fueled by Milwaukee. Right, let's see if we can see any gains between these two as we go from the overhead. Sweeping in from the outside, Tom Vial. Here it's taken it a little bit tighter. And again, just very efficient through there, but the smoother line on the exit allows hits just, and Vial from one side of the track to the other, almost landing in the bank once again. Oh, back end stepping out there as well on the Frenchman's KTM. Couple of horrible holes there, look. So quick through there. Trying to commit to the outside, but just wasn't close enough to make it happen. These two on a different planet at the moment. Again, here fancies his chances down here. Vial knows. That is a good line from Vial. He's just coming in from the outside, just carrying that momentum. Probably gives him a couple of tenths. Purple sector 2. 14 laps in for Geerts. 30.2, 6 tenths quicker than Vial. The gap, though, still 9:19.919. But Beniston almost 20 seconds adrift now in third place. But he is a couple seconds clear, 1.8 of Horgmo. So he can't afford to switch off and relax if he wants to go 3-3 for third overall. Good response this from Vial. A little bit of daylight between them all of a sudden, 1.3. Geerts has now got to dig even deeper. Tell you what this is going to do, though, isn't it? It's going to set us up perfectly for Spain in 2 weeks' time. Back marker, right, beware. The race leader has gone through. Keep out of the way. Allow Geerts to go through uninterrupted. Wow, the gap. The gap is going out, not because of the back marker, but because of Vial. Sector 1 and 2, 28.6, fastest of the race, 30.4, personal best in Sector 2. And look at the gap now, stretching out, 1.6. He's flicked the switch with about a minute and a half to go. The rhythm and the pace from Vial, absolutely sublime. How many times does Geerts have to dig in, though? The fastest lap of the race for Vial, 1:54.1 after 15 laps, a 54.6, only half a second off, though, was his pursuer. Absolutely incredible what these two are doing here today. Temperatures nudging 30 degrees on possibly the roughest track. Face full of roost off the back of the KTM, right between the eyes of Geerts, who's got himself right back onto the rear wheel. He is not going away. He is like a tenacious terrier. Again, Vial fast through there. Puts a bit of distance between himself and the Yamaha. Crucially, he's not choking on sand, is he, Vial? Geerts has been eating roost off the back of that machine all race long. Oh, that was nice as well from Vial. He has worked overtime to keep Geerts behind him. Geerts has worked overtime to keep coming back onto the rear wheel, just like Vial did in race 1, when the positions were reversed. Again, closing up. 2-lap boards going out this time around. Which way is this one going to fall? Both in the 55-1, 54-5. Goes to the inside, takes the shortest route through this time around. But again, Vial just more efficient. Traffic on the horizon, might be Jan Panzer. Possibly. The 253 and Peter Pollock. JM Honda, all of a sudden. Oh, and Geerts makes a mistake. Goes over the top of the berm, but somehow he's still in it. Watch, just gets offline. Had to stay on the brakes and then tip it in. Still within touching distance though, just over a second. Pollock, not sure if he moved out of the way, if he was ushered out of the way. But either way, he's the mobile chicane just like he was a week ago in Maggiora, when Kai de Wolf got frustrated by the 313's actions. Pollock just trying to bounce his way around there in that 13th place. 10 seconds off the pace of these guys that time around. I think we're still going to be set up for a final lap showdown here, though. We are entering the final lap. These two have been separated by about this much the entire race. Two very talented sand riders at the very top of their game. They have to be. Final lap, 1.2 the gap. Yeah, different entry into the turn. Again, Vial just a little bit more switched onto it. More traffic on the horizon. Stefan Rubini. You can see Vial there. If he looks over his shoulder, he'll see Jago Geerts as well. Just needs to stay off the race line. Does exactly that. Does the ship to cycle Honda SR Motor Blues rider. The gap growing though on this final lap. 1.9 now between first and second. Vial needs to just to keep his Vial just needs to keep his focus. Oh, buries it too deep there though. Watch this, jumps in. There was fine, but oh, that wasn't fine. Could have been costly, but it wasn't. Too far now, the gap to bridge between Geerts and Vial. Geerts will try, and a mistake there from Vial as well, just runs it wide over the berm, but just keeps it pinned. Rides himself out of trouble. There's that difference between double and triple. Geerts is going to get a run on him towards the finish, but it's not going to be enough. Despite his hard efforts, Vial, barring a mistake now in the next two corners, will win race 2 and the overall. Geerts not close enough. Despite that effort on the final turn, absolutely nothing in it. The flag goes out, and it is by 0.3 of a second. Tom Vial, who wins race 2, wins the Sardinian Grand Prix. Wow. Explosive. Final push there from Geerts, but denied by Vial. 6 consecutive podiums now for Vial. 4 wins in amongst it all. with a second and a first. Jago Geerts has to settle for second place with a win in a second. And Thibaut Beneston over the line, third, ahead of Kevin Horgmo. Those two in their own battle. Beneston on the podium for the first time this year. 2 third-place finishes. The gap back down to 6. 338 place, 332. But what an epic Grand Prix we had in MX2 today. The finish line jump. A short run from the final turn. Had Geerts not messed up halfway around the lap and left himself with a lot to do. Who knows, he could have chucked it in there. Anyway, Vial wins the race and the overall.
Tom Vial, massive congratulations. A fantastic job dealing with that threat from Geerts. He was pushing you the whole way. You had no time to breathe. You picked up your 4th overall as well as the race win.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm so happy. It was so tough today. I think it's the first race we have so like a day like this in the sand. Jago was pushing all the motor, but I had a great piece. I want to thank the team because the bike is working amazing. So thank you very much and see you next race.
Thanks Tom.
Tom Vial wins race 2, wins the overall here, the MXGP of Sardinia, the toughest test on the calendar so far this year. He does it with a second and a win. He and Geerts pushed to the absolute maximum today. They shared the points, but they can't share the top step. The Red Bull KTM, Tom Vial, your winner here in Riola Sardo. Give you official confirmation of MX2 race 2. Tom Vial by 0.3 of a second over Jago Geerts. Thibaut Beneston third. Kevin Horgmo and Isaac Gifting ran out the top 5. Didn't see too much of those because there was so much going on at the head of the field. Harop, Adamo and Langenfelder ran out the top 8 ahead of Everts, who was 9, and Bo Dam coming home 10. Kevin Brumman, Stefan Rubini, Jan Panzer, Philip Olsen, Jakob Teresak and Kai Karsmakers. Joel Rizzi, Valerio Latta, Peter Pollock and Conrad Muse went missing again on lap 12, so not a good day for Muse. Vial wins the overall from Geerts. They share the points, but it's Vial who stands on the top step here in Sardinia. Beneston on the podium for the first time. Horgmo and Harop ran out the top 5 with Gifting, Adamo and Langenfelder. Tough day at the office for everybody today. Good points haul for Liam Everts in 9th and Kevin Brumman in 11th place. Jago Geerts continues to lead the championship. It's all square as it was. 6 points in it between Geerts and Vial. And then Langenfelder and Harop, look at those two, tied on points still for that 3rd place. Horgmo in 5th. We'll do the podium in a moment, of course. But the Manufacturers' Championship looks like this. No change. Yamaha still lead the way by 8 points over KTM. Gas, Kawasaki, Husqvarna and Honda right there as well in 6th place. Take a look at the foxhole shot and then we'll get on with the podium shenanigans, shall we? Race 1, it was Thibaut Beneston. Race 2, Thibaut Beneston. Back-to-back black plates for the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. And that wry smile says it all. Tom Vial on 5, Langenfelder 4, Beneston on 2. There's a few more people in there as well. Kai Karsmakers, Matteo Guadagnini and Mikkel Harop all have 1. Get ready for the podium then. Either way, these guys will be relieved it's all over. They can sit and enjoy, in inverted commas, the final race of the day, MXGP Race 2. But third overall, his first visit to the podium in MX2. Thibaut Beneston. 2 third-place finishes for him. Got on the podium in Lockett last year. That was his first podium in MX2, but this one, the first of the season for him. His Monster Energy Yamaha teammate, Jago Kietz, a win in a second overall for him, but he maintains his championship lead. But after taking second and a face full of dirt in race 1, Tom Bial, Red Bull KTM, wins race 2 and the overall Grand Prix. And for Tom Bial, his 18th career victory, 38th podium. And he does it here in Riola Sardo. Back-to-back wins now for the Frenchman. He was victorious here with a double race win last year. He wins with a first and a second, or a second and a first this time around. Joel Smets will take the team trophy for Red Bull KTM. Anita Pili, the Sardinia Region Minister of Industry, handing the third place trophy to Thibaut Beneston. Once again, thank you to everybody involved in this Grand Prix from the region of Sardinia, the island of Sardinia, everybody on the political side and the hospitality side as well, the tourism side, for making this event happen. Second overall, Jago Kietz, the prefect of Oristano, about 20 minutes down the road from here, hands that second place trophy to Jago Kietz. And Giovanni Copioli, the FMI president, hands a winner's trophy to Tom Bial, the 4th of the season for the Frenchman. The only time he wasn't on the podium was Lombardia, when he had that crash. Bruno Pera, Corny Sardegna president, handing the team trophy to Joel Smets, team manager of Red Bull KTM Factory Racing in MX2. But the red plate arrived on the front of the Monster Energy Yamaha. It stays there as well. Jago Kietz will take the championship leader's red plate to Spain in 2 weeks' time, and with that 6-point margin still intact. Your top 3, Tom Bial, Jago Kietz, Thibaut Beneston, here in Sardinia. Tom Bial, Jago Kietz and Thibaut Beneston, first, second, third overall here, MXGP of Sardinia at Riola Sarda. What was a tough day at the office. Circuit conditions could not be tougher. The heat as well does not help. But we will grab a word with the top 3 in a moment, but not before we've seen the highlights from MX2 Race 2. The gate dropped, MX2 Race 2. Thibaut Beneston, just like he did in Race 1, came in from about 7 or 8 gates over, and it was just by the narrowest of margins that he took his second foxhole shot of the day. Tom Bial ran the outside of him, but Kietz buried in about 5th or 6th place as he came out of the first turn. But the 2 French riders went bar to bar as they entered turn 5 on the opening lap. Liam Everts went down, Simon Langenfelder went with him, but this was the battle for the lead that changed hands early on in the race. Bial getting the better of Beneston, who slipped a gear as well in the process. Kietz got around the outside of Adamo to move into 3rd on the opening lap as well. And then he just had to chase down his teammate, Thibaut Beneston. He managed to find his way past the Frenchman midway round the next lap, and then he set his sights on Bial. on a circuit where there is no room for error and no room to let off either. He managed to bridge the gap on several occasions. Every time he got close, he was denied. Even when Vial made a mistake, there was no way through. Vial dug in, and he persisted with the challenge at keeping the Yamaha at bay. And as they came into the final turn, despite this last lap lunge, it was Vial who held on for 0.3 of a second over Geerts.
Tom Vial, 2 races, 2 tough conditions. You really had to dig deep in both races. Some intense racing all weekend, but a great job for you, 4th overall of the season. Just tell us about your weekend.
I'm so happy. You know, in the sand, it's not always easy, especially today was really hot. Both moto, I was battling with Iago. First moto, I had a small crash on last lap. We were really close, and second moto, I start first or second, I don't know, and I passed, I controlled the race, and was really a great victory. Want to thank the whole team for this one. Thank you.
Great job, thanks Tom. 2nd overall today we have Iago Geerts. Iago, the rhythm and the pace from you in both races was absolutely incredible. You really had to dig deep, as did Tom. It was just a really intense day for you, but same points, so nothing gained, nothing lost for you.
Yeah, for sure, it was a pretty good day. First moto was good with the win. And then second heat, yeah, battling the whole moto with Tom was really tough for sure. But yeah, I couldn't find really a spot to pass, so finished second, so pretty happy with that. And same points, so next week is a race again.
Good job, thanks, Iago. 3rd overall today we have Thibaut Beniston. Thibaut, 2 Foxhole shots, not typically a sand rider, but 2 solid 3rd place finishes. Your first podium, you must be pleased.
Yeah, of course, I'm quite happy about my week, and for sure after my long injury it was difficult to come back actually. It's only my 5th or 6th GPs now, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm not 100% yet with the physical and the riding, but slowly start to come, and I feel more and more with flow, and we found a good solution for the start, so I take 3 good starts this weekend, and I feel really happy. Thanks to everyone.
Great job, thanks Thibaut.
Third overall, Thibaut Beniston, Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing MX2. Pleased with his podium. What was a hot day here around an incredibly tough Rio de Sardo. But ahead of him, Iago Geerts and Tom Vial, just on a different level round here today. But he'll dig in and he'll regroup for Spain. Geerts, a winner in race 1, had to be content, although I'm sure he wasn't content with second. He would have loved to have taken the 1-1 and stood on the top step to increase his lead. But when you've got 2 riders at this speed, this level, on the very top of their game, around a circuit like this, makes it tough to make up any ground on each other. Vial was in the driving seat early in race 2, and he stayed there as well. He made Iago Geerts chase him down every step of the way. There were moments when you thought he would find a way through, but he didn't. Vial hung on for the race win, the overall win for the 4th time this year. And he wins the MXGP of Sardegna in the MX2 class. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a minute with MXGP Race 2. We'll see you then. Test. Test.